Hi guys, I apologize for the quality of this video, but I decided that it is better to get something out than nothing at all, and it's been about 6 weeks since I spoke to you guys last. So I decided I'd do several different videos, and this one being the labour and delivery story. Clearly I'm a lot better than I was last time I spoke to you guys. A little bit of a space cadet last time, but it was a week I think after this is the section. So I will go from the night the waters broke. I think that was the Tuesday night the waters broke, and I was in bed. It was around 4 in the morning. I was, restless as usual. Got up to go to the toilet, and I thought this was kind of noteworthy and kind of creepy. But the bulb in the kitchen blew out of the socket and actually like went from the ceiling down to the counter like a rocket and kind of exploded. And that happened literally about 4 minutes before my waters broke, and it got my partner up. He went up to see what was going on with the noise in the kitchen, and I went into the kitchen to see what was happening. I also got myself a cucumber to eat because I was hungry, and then I was munching away on that. I decided to go back to bed. Had a very mild lower back pain, and my partner was massaging my back, and as he was massaging it, my waters broke all over the bed, and they just kept coming and coming and coming and coming, and it was extremely warm, and I was just lying there in my kind of sideways position that I'm used to lying in, and I said, "Oh, my water's broke," and he went, "Sorry?" And then he realised when he got very wet that my waters had broke, and I was like really calm and, "Oh, they just broke." And he kind of sprung up and he was starting to panic, and because the bulb had blown, the fuse had all gone on up on our apartment, so none of the lights would work, so he was running around trying to fix the lights, and I was just lying in bed kind of going, okay, what do I do now? um we ended up I ended up getting up and putting a towel between my legs and going back up to the toilet and just sat on the toilet, and he fixed obviously the fuse and rang the hospital, and the hospital said to come in to make sure the baby was okay. And it was 4 in the morning, and I thought we were able to labour at home, and that maybe a midwife would come over, but we were told to go in, and as you know, I was doing a home birth. Went into the hospital, got checked out, baby was fine, told to go home to labour at home, and if the waters, or because my waters had broken, I couldn't be longer than 24 hours or something. My memory is quite hazy. I couldn't be longer than 24 hours with my waters broke, so I'd have to go back into the hospital to make sure the baby was okay in 24 hours time. We went home and tried to go to sleep and couldn't, and then ended up watching the landscape channel, which I never noticed we had before, but it was all very calming and just pictures of landscapes, and it was very pretty and nice, kind of soothing music. So I got my kind of calm environment for, I would say, maybe an hour, and then I think the pain started to get worse, and we decided we're better off getting into the hospital and getting a bed and getting all cozy and set up. I can't remember what time that was. It was really early in the morning, maybe. So then, because the contractions were getting stronger, we went into the hospital. I had my TENS machine on, and I don't know why no midwives came out, because we were home birth, so I don't understand why. I can't remember. We went back into Unit 3. Unit 3 in Holles Street is a Nightingale ward, which means that it's a very, very long room with 7 or 8 beds on one side, 7 or 8 beds on another side. Everyone in that room is in labour or pre-labour or being induced with the prostaglandin gel. So myself and my partner pretty much described it as like World War II, because you're lying there in your bed listening to everyone else labouring and breathing through their contractions, and it's just a very loud, not relaxing place to be. Um, they have this alarm that goes off if ever anyone uses a mobile phone that says that it's banned and to put the mobile phone away. And every time anyone sends a sneaky text or phones their partner or somebody, the alarm goes off. So just as you're drifting off, the alarm goes off. I don't understand why it's there, but in the morning anyway, because I hadn't progressed, they decided they'd induce me, and they couldn't induce me if I was at home. So we had to stay in the hospital, and at this stage we were like, we don't really care, we just want to get on with it. And it was like a feeling of almost powerlessness, that what you had planned and what you wanted couldn't happen, but there was nothing you could do about it, so there was no point getting upset about it. That was kind of where we were at. So they put the prostaglandin gel in and gave me antibiotics constantly, and the pains got worse, and I was using the TENS as pain relief. Then they gave me some injection, can't remember what it was, but it made me kind of a little bit loopy and didn't help me sleep or anything. And then after 6 hours nothing happened, no progression. So they put more gel in, and we tried to sleep and nothing really happened again. And then by the next morning, I can't even remember what day we're at now, but each induction was 6 hours of the gel, 6 hours of the gel. Then obviously you have to wait for someone to come around and check you and to decide whether or not to give you more. And some consultant guys came around and decided that I should be induced because it was over 48 hours now that I had no waters. So they also looked at me and saw where my feet ended up in the bed, and I think, as you remember, I'm quite small. I'm 4'9", and they pretty much, were joking between themselves that I would be a cesarean section. And like I knew, I told you guys in the beginning that I thought I was going to have be a cesarean section, but all the midwives said babies are made for their mothers and you can't predict, and trial by labour and the whole thing. So anyway, we're 48 hours in. I'm told I'm going to go to delivery suite. Went to delivery suite, and it's coming back to me now. I was in the delivery suite twice before then, but because I had not progressed, they sent me back up to unit 3 twice. So very confusing and blurry. Anyway, went back down to the delivery suite. I was actually going to be there for real because they were going to use the oxytocin drip, and also I chose to have an epidural before the oxytocin drip. So they had the epidural, and he had to have a go twice, and he did it to me on my side, lying down on my side in the fetal position. And I was getting quite shaky, and Niall, or my partner, had to hold my legs down while the epidural was being put in. I don't know, it's just my body's reaction to the situation. I was consciously quite calm about it all, but I think subconsciously maybe a bit more anxious about it. So then basically, to cut a long story short, 8 hours later, 8 hours of oxytocin and more antibiotics, I had progressed to 3 centimetres. And it was late at night now, and we'd gone through 2 midwives. We're on our second midwife now, whose shift it was to look after us, and she was one of those home birth midwife girls that I was supposed to have. So at least I knew her, and it was nice to be with somebody I knew. And she said, oh, we can give it a couple more hours, and we were like, no, we just want to go and get this over with, let's just go and have a section. So we signed the forms, had a cesarean section, brought up to the theatre, and this bit was like super fast, really rushed, very kind of a panicky atmosphere, but Roisin was fine, heart rate was fine throughout the entire labour, she wasn't bothered at all. This bit I didn't really understand why it had to be so panicky, but I suppose it was good that it was fast because we wanted her to be born on the 1st rather than the 2nd, because the two of us being nerds wanted her birthday to be a binary number, so 0110 10. yeah, so yeah, it's very strange. But we were delighted that she was born on the 1st of October. Cesarean section, I just remember being put from one table to another, um, being my hands being pulled left, right, and centre to put the stuff in my arm, and injections and drips and stuff like that. Um, Niall came in and sat beside me, and he was told he couldn't look down, and I was just talking to Niall. Niall was trying to calm me. I was fairly, I think, spaced out at this stage. Um, when Roisin came out, she was quite a screamer, and you could hear her gurgly screaming, and I remember crying, and I didn't see her because they held her up over the screen, and Niall could see her, but I couldn't see her because I'm so small. I was so close to the screen that when they held her up, they needed to hold her up higher in order for me to actually see her, which is a bit disappointing. And then she got whisked away, and checked, and she was fine, and her APGAR score was 9.5 or something, really high. And she was £7 9 ounces, or 3.44 kilos, wrapped up in a blanket, given to me to kiss. They kind of held her head over my head and said, "Kiss the baby," and I was like, "Okay, kiss the baby." And it wasn't a very emotional moment. It was just like, do as you're told, sort of. It was bizarre. Then the baby got given to my partner, and he just instantly spoke to her, chatting away to her. It was very, very natural with her. I just kept watching him with her. Didn't really know what to say. Didn't really say anything to the baby. Her lips were the most amazing thing I'd ever seen, and I remember the first thing I said is, "Oh, look at her lips," and "Oh yeah, it looks like it's a baby," and like that was pretty much all that I said. Niall then got quickly moved away from theatre with the baby, brought down to the nursery. I was stitched up. I was chatting away to the people around me. I was starting to get, I don't know, I was high, I suppose, a little bit. I was chatting away to the anaesthetist, I was chatting away to the surgeons, and I was coming up, like, "How's it doing down there? How does my body look down there? Is everything okay?" They were all telling me about my ovaries and my fallopian tubes, and I know I'm such a strange person, but that's what I was interested in finding out about. And I was talking to the anaesthetist. "God, it's very nice that you're there. I feel so reassured that you're standing behind me." And he was like, "Oh, good, that's good." And I was like, wasn't my partner very natural with the baby?" God, I was so surprised at how good he was with her. He's like, "Yes, he was very good." And that's all I really remember about that. And then I was brought into recovery. I'm trying to speed up because I know I'm coming up to 15 minutes. Into recovery. I was in a bit of pain in recovery, and it took a while for somebody to come and give me loads of morphine, and that was a bit of a disappointment and a shock to me, because I was in a lot more pain than I'd ever been the whole labour in recovery. So that was weird. um I think I will stop and start again, so I will do part 2.